China Current is a weekly news talk show from China to the world. We cover viral news about China every week and also give you the newest updates on China's cutting-edge technologies. Let's get started.
Welcome to China Currents, your weekly news report on what's happening in China. I'm Lisa. In this episode, Ukrainian diplomat provoked both China and the United States with one sentence. China decided to invest over $50 billion to support Africa's development. Russia achieved 292 agreement worth $61 billion with China. The leader of US and UK intelligence agency claimed China poses a real danger to the global order. Let's start with Ukraine. On the 3rd of September, Ukrainian ambassador to Japan, Sergei Kosansky, made a highly controversial visit to Japan's Yasukuni Shrine. The Ukrainian embassy in Japan stated the visit was to pay tribute to the martyrs who sacrificed for their country. This statement was immediately busted by China's official media, which criticized Ukraine for affronting the people of China and other Asian countries. It is important to know that Yasukuni Shrine honors several Class A war criminals, those responsible for planning and executing the war of aggression against China and the US and many other Southeast countries during World War II. Among them, Isoroku Yamamoto, the commander of the Pearl Harbor attack, Masaharu Homma, who orchestrated the Bataan Death March that slaughtered 75,000 American and Philippine prisoners of war, Iwano Matsui, who was responsible for the Nanking Massacre that killed 300,000 Chinese civilians. Regarding the act of visiting the Yasukuni Shrine, CNN once pointed out that not only would it complicate relations between Japan and its neighbors, but also with its most important ally, the US. The wars they waged resulted in the deaths of an estimated 35 million soldiers and civilians in China alone, with another 4 million lives lost in the Pacific. These Japanese leaders were tried by the International Military Tribunal for the Far East and executed for their war crimes. Yet today, these same individuals are referred to as martyrs by the Ukrainian embassy. And this sparked outrage in China, particularly among regions that were formerly occupied by Japan. Chinese society is angry but also feels sorry for the United States. As of May 2024, the US has provided nearly $175 billion in aid and military assistance to Ukraine. Yet Ukraine paid tribute to war criminals who attacked US and massacred American prisoners of war. This has left many wondering, what message is Ukraine sending to its biggest supporter? The Ukrainian embassy also seems to forget the fact that Japanese forces once killed many Ukrainians. In 1939, Japan launched an attack on the Soviet Union and even used chemical weapons such as mustard gas, resulting in more than 9,000 killed and 15,000 injured, many of whom were Ukrainians serving in the Red Army. Estimates suggest around 7 million Ukrainian citizens fought in the Soviet forces during the World War II, accounting for approximately 23% of the total number of the armed force of the USSR. Some Soviet soldiers who were attacked by Japanese chemical weapons could not be identified because of skin ulcers. This made it very challenging for us to verify how many Soviet soldiers from Ukraine were sacrificed in Siberia. For China, the date of this visit was particularly provoking. September the 3rd marks the anniversary of China's victory over Japan in World War II, a day commemorating the end of immense suffering and loss. To see Ukraine, a country now seeking China's assistance in facilitating peace talks with Russia, honoring the war criminals responsible for such death and devastation in Asia, has fueled widespread resentment. After causing great controversy, the Ukrainian embassy in Japan deleted this part of the tweet the day after the visit on September the 4th. However, the post was screenshotted by many netizens, as they said if Ukraine really wants to gain China's sympathy, then an old Chinese saying may be most appropriate. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And if Ukraine really wants to pay tribute to the martyrs who sacrificed for their country, maybe there are more suitable places for them to visit in Moscow. Next up, let's move to the latest diplomatic achievement between China and Africa. On the 5th of September, more than 50 African leaders gathered in Beijing for the 2024 Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, or FORCIC. At the summit's opening, Chinese President Xi Jinping made a significant pledge, $50.7 billion in funding to support development initiatives across Africa over the next 3 years. This new financial commitment represents a 27% increase from the previous FOCAC summit in 2021. The funding will go towards 30 major infrastructure projects across the continent, 3 times the number pledged in 2021. Aimed at creating at least 1 million jobs in Africa. Following the opening ceremony, delegations from both sides adopted the Beijing Declaration aimed at fostering a shared future in the new era alongside the Beijing Action Plan for 2025 to 2027. These initiatives signals deeper cooperation in critical sectors such as industry, agriculture, infrastructure, trade, and investment. Just 2 days after the summit began, tangible outcomes are already emerging. On September the 8th, a shipment of frozen lamb from Madagascar arrived in China Hunan province, marking the first time China has imported lamb from an African nation. China's mutton consumption is expected to hit 5.74 million tons in 2023, and the market size has reached $110 billion. This move will provide lucrative sales channels for African herders and one of the best quality ingredients for Chinese tables. Senegal's President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, co-chair of FOCAC, expressed his gratitude to China, calling the partnership an effective collaboration. Mauritania's President Mohamed Ould Ghazouani, who also chairs the African Union, hailed the China-African relationship as a leading model for South-South cooperation. However, the summit was not without controversy. Western governments and media outlets have long accused China of engaging in so-called debt trap diplomacy, alleging that China forces African countries to exchange natural resources for infrastructure investments. A recent report from the BBC on September the 7th claimed that China is often accused of burdening African nations with unsustainable debt. However, according to research by London-based think tank Chatham House, China accounts for only 12% of Africans' total private and public external debt. Experts suggest that if Africa is facing a debt crisis, attention should perhaps be directed at its largest creditor, such as the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. As discussion continues, all eyes are on the next step in this evolving China-Africa partnership, which promises significant economic impact on both continents. Stay tuned for more updates. In Asia, there are also good news from the diplomatic community. On the 3rd of September, the East Economic Forum (EAF) kicked off in Russia with more than 6,000 participants from 76 countries and regions. Almost 300 agreements worth $61.4 billion were signed at the East Economic Forum. Advisor to Russian President and Secretary of the EAF Organizing Committee, Anton Kobyakov, said on Friday. Chinese Vice President Han Zheng attended this forum and delivered a speech, expressing that China is committed to deepening cooperation in Northeast Asia. Member of Russian State Duma Committee on Small and Medium-Sized Business Alexei Govyrin told TASS that China is keen to collaborate with Russia's technology company. He noted that China's experience in developing technology parks is particularly valuable for Russia. While China and Russia are busy creating wealth, the US and UK are busy creating wars. According to a report by CNN on September the 8th, CIA Director Bill Burns spoke at a joint public event with MI6 Chief Richard Moore. The pair highlighted the importance of the two countries' intelligent partnership at a time when global order is, quote, under threat. Burns accused China of offering dual-use items to Russia poses a real danger. However, there is no clear definition of what specific products fall under the category of dual-use items. It is not the first time that CIA hyped the threat from China. On the 30th of January of this year, the CIA significantly ramped up efforts to collect, execute, and analyze intelligence related to China. He noted that over the past 2 years, the portion of the US budget allocated to China has more than doubled, and the CIA is actively recruiting more Mandarin speakers to strengthen its operation in countering China. Since Chinese soldiers also speak Mandarin, this dual-use language could pose a real danger inside the CIA. And that is all for today. Thank you for watching this episode of China Currents. If you have any thoughts or comments about our show, please reach us at the email address below. We look forward to hearing from you and see you next time.